Hello! So, this video is to introduce the AI into Godot, an LLM, whatever you want to call it. How do we get it so that this NPC and my character can interact? I can ask a question and the AI responds through some sort of language learning model. Let's have a look. So, how to slap an LLM into your Godot project. That's what we've called this. And the answer is this. NobodyWho. So NobodyWho, let's have a little look, is this project right here. This project is, I don't know how I came about it. It says here it works with Unity. I'm just a hobbyist. I should say that up front. I just tinker with things. I am not anyone that's in depth with code. I can read something, pretty much work out what it means. I have a bit of a numbers brain, so mathsy kind of stuff isn't too bad for me either. But over the years, I'm 29 now, and since about 1918, I made my first game in Game Maker, and it's just been tinkering ever since then, but never really delving into it. I don't code to the extent of some other people, but NobodyWho. I came across this project a couple days ago, and it's insane. So that what I discussed at the beginning there, where you want an NPC to sort of interact, or it can be any other case, narrator, whatever you want. But in this case, the simplest example I can think of is you ask an NPC a question and they respond. For that case, this is insanely simple. I tell you that in about half an hour, I started a brand new Godot project, implemented a pre-made character, a first-person character, which is my little capsule over here. Dragged that in, got that set up, and yeah, in about half an hour, we had all of this, which let me show you now is a fully working model. So if I go up to this guy, F to talk. Oh, that shouldn't do that, but it does. Hi, how are you today? So I haven't disabled any keys. Send. You'll see down here that it's initializing the worker. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I've set this to really test the character. It can only speak in rhyme. So we get a, yo, I spin the wheel of life, no stress, I'm cool, I'm dressed right in the streets, in the light, shining bright through this day and the night. Wow. That's AI for you. But once it does it, says writing, it will initialize this and until it gives a response, that will just stay in progress. Once you get a response, you'll get it output somewhere. So if you don't see one, there's something going wrong. So how do we get this? When you download the project, so let's go back to this. When you download the project, this here is an add-on. Not your typical go to the project settings add-on, but you just download it in and Godot will detect some new nodes for you and you will have them down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have the NobodyWho chat and the NobodyWho model. They're the two that we're interested in. I haven't really tinkered around with the rest. Haven't looked into examples of them yet. Kind of got excited with what we've got and went, I should just pump this out. So the chat and the model. The model just goes into our world somewhere. It just needs to load. That's all we're going to do. And that, when you look at it, is what we will pinpoint, what we will, what's the word here? What we will give our model. We will give it the path. These have to be .gguf models. But you'll see here I've been tinkering with a few. I had a couple more. There are examples that don't work. I mean, to get some models to work, you need to be able to give them a lot more controls and parameters. And NobodyWho here does have some basics, like penalty repeat is a big one with AI models. But generally, it's basic. And some of them won't tolerate just this. They want more controls and are meant for certain programs. So not everything will work. but most basic models will. Now you'll see down here we've got some other stuff. So we have this just links back to your model and is basically just saying, what model are we using? And this is linked to our NPC. So I have a very basic system in place where the NPC has an area 3D. So once we enter this zone, we get that F prompt to interact. Once we get the interact, we enable, make these visible so we can discuss in the dialogue panel, which is our chat box, as you saw earlier. So this, send button, blah, 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 blah. Very simple. Very simple. Once we go back to this. So we were over here. This isn't necessary. You can take that off. So then we get to the system prompt down here. And as you can see, earlier in the video, when we communicated with the AI, we had a rhyming response, and that was due to this. So if we take that out and replace it with another one that I've prepared, and we go back in, let's go forward, F to talk, help, help, and let's see what we get with that. Let's see if they give an officer sort of type response. It'll have to load it again. Unfortunately, I've just had to close oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So here's where it's not great. And this is where you have to tinker with different models, different settings, and eventually you'll find something where it fits your brief a lot more than it's doing here. So here it's quite clearly the Phi model has not forgotten that it's an AI. The system prompt is very basic. In fairness, I probably should have said something like, you cannot let on that you are an AI. But this is where you just have to experiment. The big perk with all of this is just how easy this is. I mean, at the end of the day, once you've got a model like this, all you're doing is tinkering settings and downloading a new GGUF file, and that's it. And you're just trialing new ones until you find something that fits your bill. I mean, most of us are very basic when it comes to this, and this is where I think the strength actually lies with this, is that we're not here to really go in depth on AIs. We're not here to train models. Most of us don't have those capabilities. All we want to do is just mess about and see, can we actually make something with the resources we've got relatively quick and easily? And that is exactly what this tool is. And I've had some character responses out there which are better than others. As I just said, once you put in your system prompt that you can't let on that you are an AI, it gets rid of a lot of this and it really commits to the role play. But yeah, that is the basics of this. And I think when you take an approach like this, where it's very dynamic responses, you can't plan a game. And in some respects, that's going to make it very boring, because you're going to get very AI responses from things, and you can't plan a game around that. What you can do is you can have this on essentially like side quest NPCs, fill out your world, have some text-to-speech kind of deals, lower those volumes and have it really like real conversation between two of these AI that are very simple, but just people passing by. And it's that part that gets me excited. It's the added layer of realism surrounding what we normally would have now in what we curate ourselves. There will always have to be a level of curation, the same way films have it. We can't just go record, or actually You've Been Framed shows we can just go record funny clips, but we can't go record a very serious moment very often. And that's why we have to curate for films. And I think games will always be the same. You will always need that designed mechanic. I don't think you'll ever get AI producing something unique and exciting. But at the same time, there is a place for it. And truth be told, I think what I would look to do next with something like this is take a response, export the response, have a little file on the side, a little text file, and play around with it. Essentially, at the moment, this has a context window that these models can keep. So I can come away from this. Oh, I think the game just broke. Oh, no, that's why it's the wrong key. And I can go back into this, and it's still got all of the messages there. What I would like to do, though, is I think that's only got a certain limit. I think we could save this chat, feed it back into an AI at later dates, different scenes. And I think you could have them be familiar with you, remember certain things about you. And yeah, I think that's quite an exciting possibility. You could have a random NPC that you've had very little input on that you can see throughout the game, and they will remember everything. And that I think that's a good way forward. And that's probably going to be my next project, as a little proof of concept of that. But for now, this is NobodyWho. NobodyWho is, as I said, a very exciting tool. I can't believe that when I search how to put an LLM into Godot, there's really only a few videos of it. And it baffles me. AI in Godot is a massive deal, even if just at its simple form here. But yes, so I will leave it there, and I guess I will maybe upload the project files. If you want them, just request them. If I haven't already done that, please remind me. And that's it. All right, goodbye.